We are recapping episode 5 of Apple TV's hit show Lucky, starring Anya Taylor-Joy. Brian and Alyssa with me here today, and we are ready to get started. Let's get to it. Alrighty, welcome into another edition of Popcorn and Root Beer, everybody. My name is Steve. I am your host, and joining me is the Hart Foundation, Brian and Alyssa Hartman. Fresh off their trip to New York City. My friends, how was it?
Fantastic. Mind-blowing. My first time ever being in the city, so I was full on like tourist mode while I was there.
Nice. One show that none of us missed, Lucky. We are on episode 5 of 7. And I'm not going to bury the lead. Actually, I'm going to bury the lead for just a second longer because, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert now. We're going to pause right here. Spoiler alert. And also, please, if you're new here, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any episodes of this or any of our upcoming stuff, such as Lanterns in the near future. We just dropped a review of Spider-Man Brand New Day, and we have so much more coming your way. But now that that's all out of the way and I don't feel guilty anymore about spoiling this episode, let's talk about Lucky, episode 5. I had concerns coming off of episode 4 that was so high octane that I was like, I feel like there's a real risk they lose momentum. How'd we feel? How'd we feel with this episode?
Go ahead. Go for it.
It almost feels like we did slow down a bit, but we didn't all at the same time. Like we slowed down as far as like the amount of events that actually happened, but it was still a high-paced movement. I enjoy... So all of the boring parts that shouldn't be in shows and movies that I'm always like, oh, I want to see how this happens. I want to see how this happens. They do that in this show, and they do it very well in the point that they don't make them boring. Do you really want to see how this person actually gets away? Do you actually want to see them injured after a bomb blows up or a car crash? No. But you're always curious. Wait, how the hell did you just walk away from this? They show you all of this, and I really appreciate how the show does it, the writing in which they do. You get to see the way she gets out of this car crash. What does she do? She hops in another vehicle with the old lady and pretends to be the granddaughter. You know, the way she finesses, she moves. It's the brilliance of this show, because like we said in episode 1, this is the same show we've seen done dozens of times, but they're doing it right. They're giving us a nice spin-off on it.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Anya Taylor-Joy's portrayal of a family member in a hospital, spot on. They are fucking useless.
So good.
Fucking useless. They don't know anything. You ask them any questions. I mean, this is like they're like, oh my God, they're my best friend. And I'm like, what's their date of birth? They're like, I have no idea. I don't know what to tell you. It's like, all right, great, thank you.
Family history, medication,
nothing. They're like, I don't know. I'm like, are they on any medications? Nope. People are like that too, though. Don't get it twisted. I've asked people, I'm like, you want any medicines? Nope. All right, cool. And then we start going, and they're like, oh, do blood thinners count? I'm like, why wouldn't they?
Everybody
is that
takes
a pill
that,
you
right?
take every day? Yes.
Yeah, like, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they count? I'm all, oh, what about insulin? Yeah, it counts. It counts. Like,
that's a big one.
Like, listen, I want to know if you're taking ibuprofen every day. All right? Like that's the baseline here. So I just need to know what's going on. And that's how people are in the hospital. Alyssa, thoughts on this episode?
I did feel like it was slow, but what we talked about last episode was that had to be like the peak, right? The emotional peak, or I guess one of them. That was what my take was once Cary dies, that shifts what is going on in the story. So although this episode was the slowest one that I feel that we've seen in the series, absolutely necessary and all worth it, not to jump to it, but the second that John gets out, then the episode I was like glued back in.
Yeah. And then
which is only like the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, and then of course it ends. Yeah, that was rough.
Yes, but it was a nice little bump. Like now I'm ready for the next one.
Yes.
That thing that we all knew was going to happen. Like you don't bring in somebody like Fan over here and just don't put him in the show. No, we got to get him out of jail. We got to get Timothy rocking.
No,
the whole crew.
Alyssa's right though. Like the end of this episode was like that pinky in the Coke.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? And now we're getting ready for a full bump. Like that's coming. We're about to put it on the keys. We're about to have it going. Like someone get a DeLorean, get the get the mirror going on the dashboard. Like, we're ready. We're ready. It's going to be exciting. I think this episode, I would say, was really light on the plot progression and really heavy on the character development. A lot of characters moved in directions this time, but without the plot really going anywhere except for those like last 5 minutes, right? We saw Priscilla kind of, she seems like she's like, there's nothing left for her to fear anymore. Like, Whittaker may have overpowered her physically, but it feels like that's shaping up toward her taking him out. He feels like he's dead.
Dead man walking.
On a rock. Yeah, like, and it feels like Priscilla's going to be the one to take him out. Lucky is moving in a direction of being like, I'm done with this life. I just feel like it's all crumbling around me. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be a good person. Billy's kind of on one, I think, in this show. I don't know if I'm supposed to like Billy or not.
I've liked her less and less. I feel like with each episode, maybe not drastically. It's not a huge.
And it's so funny because she's not doing anything wrong, right? Like, she's doing her job, and that's a tough position to be in as a character, right? Because it's like, as an actor, you're like, oh, I want to bring this to life, and as you're writing these characters, and I can speak from like writing experience and stuff like that, you write characters that are like, listen, this is their job, like they have to do this, but because it's directly against what the protagonist is doing. Yeah. They just wind up becoming hated because they're an inconvenience to whatever Lucky's trying to get done.
But they're like, they're a fundamental piece of it too. Like, we have to have her, right? I guess, is she the one who got John out?
I think yes, right? That's what I'm assuming, because she said, I need you to call in a favor at the Justice Department, right?
Yeah. So it was Billy that got him out, but
what?
What? How?
What are they arresting him on exactly? So here's my question. Here's like a plot hole of the episode for me. I don't think you're allowed to just let someone out of jail and then like immediately arrest them again.
Yeah, what are you arresting him for? Unless it's being around a criminal.
But he's not out on parole. He's just out.
Yeah. I mean, like, unless they're trying to get him, like, you're being associated. I can't even remember the terminology right now. I haven't watched enough SVU lately.
It's just, I don't know what he's being arrested for or what Lucky's being arrested for. Like,
right, because they're not, well, oh boy. Are they wanted? Like, is she
I think wanted? Lucky's wanted. Why is he going to jail? And Lucky obviously turned herself in. Right, she calls Billy, is like, hey, like, calls in the tip, come get me, here I am. I don't understand what John's going to jail again for. You can't do that. I think that's like double jeopardy.
Yeah, unless he's done something new. Because is he let out on like parole? Is he just out?
No, because he actually says he's like, I'm 8 years short of parole.
Yeah. So what was the circumstances there? Because it does leave that a little fishy, unless it's like, you know what, we've got them both right here. We're gonna bring them in a room. They're not arrested, but we're just gonna make sure you don't slip away.
Yeah, it's like I'm not sure how this is gonna stick. I'm very confused on that. And if you're a legal expert or know more about the legal process than I do, if you've been arrested,
or if you're a criminal and you got that insight, let us know.
Yeah, if you've committed white-collar crimes, such as money laundering, which is what they are doing, let us know in the comments below what exactly he's going to jail for, because we don't know. We are all squares and haven't had our run-ins with the law. And
even if you're a blue-collar criminal, drop it down there. We love 60 days in at this household. Let's just chat. Let's just chat.
We've discussed this at length about my love of white-collar crime. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of some of it. Some of it I'm not. Some I'm a fan of. I'm a big fan. I have been watching a lot of John Wick lately. So I'm like, is Assassins, are they white collar or blue collar? There's a question to all of it. But anyway, so John and Lucky are arrested at the end of this episode. Priscilla is essentially on the warpath at this point now. Dutch is still the MVP of this show at this point. Like, just the realest dude I've ever seen in a show like this. It would have been so easy for them to make him such a cartoon villainous shithead. And he's so likable. I don't know what to do with it. I just need him to survive this show.
I think he's going to be the one that survives. I think it's going to end with some type of Wayne and Priscilla shoot out. They both die because, like, really, what else do they have to live for? Like, they're the ones that they can die and it doesn't matter. I want to see John get out. I want to see Lucky out. I want to see Dutch be able to retire on an island and just drink pina coladas all day. Or maybe the three of them cluster up together. But
I don't know what the end game of this show is. Let me say this. I don't mean to cut you off. I'll let you go back to that. I don't know if they plan a season 2. If they are planning a season 2, I think Priscilla has to survive. I think she'll go to jail and become like a puppet master from in jail, where she's like, if you think this is the end, if you think you're out, you're wrong. You owe me. Like I think
she still wants that 10 mil.
I think she's going to I think she's going to get Lucky out of the situation she's in. Wind up going to jail for it, killing Whitaker. That way, no one's hunting Lucky anymore. And just when Lucky's like, all right, good, I can finally go live my life, she's like, I
own you.
I own you now. Understand, this wasn't me just being a good person. I don't care that my son loved you. I don't really like you.
Yeah, she's in jail. Dutch is the communication guy that's the in between.
Yeah, wouldn't it be great if at the end of this whole thing, say John and Lucky are chilling in a resort somewhere, right down in Mexico, having a good time, father-daughter time, and all of a sudden, someone from the resort comes up with like a phone. It's like, "There's a phone call for you," and they answer it. It's like Dutch, and he's like, "Hey, this isn't over." And then it cuts to Priscilla sitting in jail and just like smirking, and then the show cuts to black, and it's to be continued, right? Like that's
like
how
Charlie's Angel shit, like just a platter with a phone, right? And
and I'm like, listen, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it, right? Like, let's do it big. I want to say,
I want to see John end up in jail. I don't think him being out is good for Lucky. Had he not been out, we saw it. Lucky was about to board a plane, get the hell out of there, and just spend the rest of her days riding out on
I don't want Lucky to go straight. That's maybe my hottest take on this show.
I just don't want her to be with John. I think John's bad for her.
I do. I want her. That's what I need. I need things to be bad for Lucky. I can't have Lucky just succeeding. This is a tragic character. This is like saying I don't want Juliet to see Romeo across the dance floor. They have to see each other. You know what I mean? At some point, it is what it is, and we have to accept it, and that's just what we're at. I don't necessarily want Simba to go into the ravine, but he has to.
Yeah.
Childhood flashbacks. Oh god.
Yeah. I have a sneeze caught in my nose, so if I look like I'm like sitting here like Jones
about to cry,
or look like I'm doing cocaine, I can't get the sneeze out. It's about to come out, and it's gonna be so awkward.
That's okay. While you take that, I'm gonna back us up a little bit if I can, because I love to call things out, even if it doesn't happen. It's like a little like, okay, let me just say this out loud in case it does happen. But I think it was episode 2 when we see Priscilla like kind of be sexy with Whitaker, and he says that gross stuff to her about how like, can't believe you actually think sex is on the table. From that scene, I was like, oh, that's Cary's dad. Yeah, that's so fucking Cary's dad.
Yeah.
And then you kind of forget about it because it doesn't matter. But after the funeral, when he doesn't show up and we have that revealed to us, how much did you want to rip that fucking little gold earring out of his ear and punch him in the sniffer?
That guy plays a douchebag maybe better than anybody on earth.
So good. And then when you see him and then you look at Cary, the actor that was Cary, I'm like, okay, it even fits because they look like they could be father-son. Like they did a great job on that casting. Finding out that that's his dad almost made Cary like a better fit for that role or that actor.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. You're right. I mean, in episode like 2, we were like, all right, that's probably what's going on here. I do want to give another shout out to the costume department, or actually hair and makeup. This is who I want to give a shout out to. Because have you noticed that Lucky's hair is kind of getting that bronze tint, that like platinum blonde, the yellowing,
like purple shampoo, girl.
Yeah, like she doesn't have any, right? And it's like getting more and more bronze. Like Brian probably has no idea how this works, but Alyssa, you and I both
have. Turn like straw. Yeah.
Like it's as someone who bleaches his hair fairly regularly, like that is
bleach your hair.
Oh yeah,
boy.
yeah.
Thought it was natural.
Yeah, people can't believe it. But people are like, wait, they're like, is that your natural hair color? I'm like, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I'm platinum blonde.
Riz.
I'm platinum blonde from the eyebrows up.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Yeah, like the yellowing of her hair, like all that stuff. Like, there's a lot of really good attention to detail in the show.
Mm-hmm. What did you think about Priscilla's outfits? Because I know that you are a big fan of hers.
Love it.
And this episode, she has maintained boss bitch gangster.
Whoever's dressing her, you know what? Yes, the costume department. Yeah, you know what? We will thank them because they always eat with her. They're like, you know what? Let's go after it. I'm glad we still get that. Like, I need it to matter, right? Like, this has to matter. This stuff has to matter. Like,
even though, like, I think it's before the funeral when, like, she just looks so disheveled. Like, you can see that she is going through the grief and loss and is not herself. Like, her hair's all flat and she has like a blanket wrapped around her. And I was on Reddit a little bit today, like just seeing what the people think. And someone was like, when Priscilla's on the screen, all I can see is Kris Jenner. And I can't unsee it now. Like,
yeah, it's very Kris Jenner. She does look a lot like Kris Jenner, which
before the recent facelift.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Kris Jenner like 3 surgeries ago. Like, not quite like Kris Jenner before the surgeries. Kris Jenner didn't quite look like Annette Bening, but you know.
But the power outfits definitely like contribute to that.
Well, I always love the costuming in movies because I think back to The Devil Wears Prada, and that is still, I think today, to this day, the most expensive wardrobe ever for a movie. It was a little over $1 million on just clothing. Mm-hmm. And it worked. It mattered, right? Like, that stuff matters. Having characters look like they're in the world that they're occupying matters. Having it correlate to their character matters. All this stuff matters. Has to matter. Like, I love it.
It does.
That's like, I mean, I don't know. There is something about getting kind of dressed up, like, that makes you feel a little bit more powerful in the world too.
Hell yeah. Like, oh yeah, I've got my power pants. I'm like, if I put these on, I'm going to feel like a boss bitch. Like, let me walk through Home Depot without a man and someone try to offer me help. Okay. That's how I felt about Lucky's last outfit. Like, when she's about to, I think it's when she gets arrested. She's got her leather jacket on, like her like black
on the plane,
flared pants. Like, she looks like a badass in that.
I do love when John like gives her a hug. She's like, "Oh, careful," and he's like, "Oh God." And she's like, "Yep, it's been a little bit rough. Like, it's been a little rough." I'm like, eat him down, get him, like, let him know what's been up. Are we going to talk about the fact that Priscilla just left her son's ashes just on the floor?
Yeah.
No, she dumped him in the ocean.
There's no way she flicked all of that out, right?
She chucked the urn at him.
Yeah, because she threw the ashes in the ocean before at the funeral, and then she took the urn to.
Oh, right. You're right. Okay, so all right, never mind then. I was like, wait, did she just? I must have like looked at my phone for a second when she was dumping that out because I'm like, did she just chuck the kid? Like, she just chucked her kid at him and then left it there.
It still was very careless. Like, a lot of people say, my ashes dumped somewhere, dumped in the ocean. It was a very like, oh, here's a tide pool. This is as far as I'm getting to dump it in the ocean. Kind of like, I really don't give a shit. So this is
so morbid to talk about. Let's get into it because I want to know now. Like, so when my parents die, I'm not doing the whole burial thing. Like, it's like $1 gazillion and it's like they just rot in the ground. And I'm like,
throw them in the trash.
So I'm like, I'm going to cremating is cremating is definitely the route I think most people are taking these days. It seems like cemeteries aren't quite as popular as they used to be. My mom is an ocean person. Do I need to like charter a deep sea vessel and like take her to the middle of the sea, or am I good to like do it on, like, I don't like going in the ocean.
Yeah.
Put a little boat, just kind of push it out to sea, Viking funeral style,
I think the key is just not being downwind. Like, you could be on a bridge, you can be on the coast, you can be on a boat if you want to, but just don't be downwind.
Like, make sure it goes into the water. I would probably get close to the water and just into the water, be one with the ocean and beach, mom. That's so morbid to talk about. Do you guys want to be buried or cremated? Do you have a preference?
Cremate me. Thinking about my body like just rotting, and I know that's morbid, but like that grosses me out. I don't want to think about myself being in a morgue. Like, just
Honestly,
give me back to the
taxidermy.
earth.
Sure.
You know, if I go significantly before Alyssa, you know, I
was
want
gonna
to
say, what if you're
there.
like, if you're young? Yes, no one wants like a wrinkly old version of Brian like sitting around.
Old grandpa.
Or I can be like a bear rug in front of the fireplace. You know, like it'd be cool as hell.
I think you should get one. Like if you died really young and Alyssa like remarried, it should just be you taxidermied like just staring at her new husband
in the corner of the bedroom.
Yeah, just like there. Being like, I know what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Just toss me in the cup chair.
I think that's
if I go first, I'm putting it in my will that I do not want to be taxidermied because.
Are you kidding me? I need somewhere. You're like a bookend to keep the dogs off the bed. You know, I'd keep you there in your spot.
Moving on.
Oh, that's so gross. I am an organ donor, but I have this deep seated. All right, this is getting way too morbid, but it's nonetheless where my mind's at. So I'm an organ donor, but I had like you can jot down like what organs not to take, and I was like, the only one that I asked not for them to take is like my eyes, because all right, I don't know. Obviously, there's no answer to what happens after you die, right? But I'm concerned that if there is an afterlife, like I think you only go with what you got. And my concern is that I would be up there blind. And I just feel like that's a real step back in my life if I was like blind. You know what I mean? And like that one is supposed to be never ending.
Forever.
Right.
Like
I don't need a liver up there. I don't need a spleen up. You know what I mean? It's the afterlife. Like I'm not gonna die from eating fatty foods.
But you do need your eyeballs.
But I need my eyes. I can't be out there like three blind micing my way through the afterlife. That just feels like a real L. So
no, I get that. I get that.
Maybe I'll just donate one. I'll go Cyclops style.
Yeah. All right. Back to Lucky, and we are going to stick with the theme of death. Did she mourn Cary long enough, do you think? And she hesitated a bit when Priscilla was like, "Did you love him?" She took a beat that if I was Priscilla, I'd be like, "Oh, you bitch."
Well, I mean, in her defense, in like a 72-hour span, he abandoned her, stole the money, then she found him, then the whiplash of like, he actually does love you, and now he's dead. Like a lot of emotions.
She was like, the best way for me to cope in this situation was that you were dead. Because if you were alive, that means you backstabbed me and you did this to me, and I couldn't live knowing that. So like, she already talked about the process of like, no, he has to be dead. There should have been some bigger screwed up reason of why I was in the situation.
Brian, this is very telling that Alyssa is so on Lucky's side. Her love for you seems to be hanging by a very specific thread that you don't betray her for $10 million.
Yeah, 11, it's fine, but 10, don't you do it.
You know, we didn't even talk about that last episode. You guys are actively married. We could have, like, Alyssa, could you forgive Brian if he did what Cary did?
I don't know. It would like, if we're in the exact same situation, if we get away in the getaway car that is brand new and we've got a beach house to go to, perhaps I could get over it. I could use the money to dry my tears. But I don't know.
You could buy your forgiveness.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
I could buy her forgiveness. 100%.
Especially if we come from like parents that are criminals. Like, come on. Aren't all relationships then transactional?
Do you think like couples therapy is needed at that point? You think you're like going to talk to someone about it? Or
I would bet, like, can you be honest with a therapist about that? Like, would you?
Why not?
I don't know. Could your clients be honest with you about it?
Oh, hell yeah. I'm so accepting. And I'm like, don't lie. Like, I don't care what you do. I'm not judging you. Yeah. But I don't know if everyone could.
Like, you posed this hypothetical as if you couldn't answer it yourself.
Well, it just meant like, as a criminal with a lot going on, would you actually like lay it all out there in couples therapy? Or would it be kind of like the surface level, but you don't actually reveal the
maybe you wouldn't reveal exactly why it was all happening, but you're like, he betrayed me.
Oh, I would. Do you know how intense that therapist would be listening? How excited they would get every week to, oh my God, my bank robbers are coming in today.
I do have to say, as far as I know, because I know as a nurse, like there's confidentiality rules that don't absolve you of confessing crimes to me. If you confess a crime to me, I'm a mandated reporter. I have to tell people.
But it's only like if I'm hurting somebody actively, right?
No, you can't be like, oh my God,
Alyssa.
like you can't like come stumbling into the ER bleeding and me be like, what happened? First off, if you're shot, we have to call the cops. Second, like if you came in with like someone stabbed me after I killed them or I was killing someone and they stabbed me, I'd be like, all right, I have to call the cops now. Like,
see, I can't. Like
really?
if someone comes into me in a session and says like 10 years ago I killed someone, like I cannot report that because there's no longer anyone that's in imminent harm.
What a weird.
Weird.
What the fuck kind of rule is that? That's so dumb.
And there's certain states. There's certain states that like a therapist or a psychiatrist, psychologist is not as protected. So, yeah.
So you could. So you're sitting there. I'm a criminal. Guilt is weighing upon me, bearing down on me like black mass. I guess I don't know. And I, instead of going to the cops and turning myself in to rid myself of this guilt, walk into Dr. Hartman's office.
Not quite, but yeah.
And go, Alyssa, I gotta tell you, 10 years ago, I fucked up.
Yep. It's like a non-religious confession.
Even religious confessions aren't protected anymore. You have to tell them. Like the priests can't hold on to that anymore.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't just like sit on that information. You'd be aiding and abetting a criminal. That's a weird thing that they expect you to do.
Yep. Now, I know we're getting in the nitty gritty, but like if I'm subpoenaed, that's a different story because you're being subpoenaed. You're being asked to turn things over. You can be quizzed about that. But
wow, you see, you all thought you were just getting a lucky recap, and look at this. Look how much we're learning about how you can get away with crime here.
Go to therapy. Get away with crime.
Go to therapy anyway. Go to therapy anyway. Mm-hmm. But if you need to, also get away with crime.
It's a safe space.
That's a cherry on top. That's a cherry on top. Therapy is good for everybody. Everyone has a good time. It's like a gossip sesh with someone who's always on your side.
Yeah, always has your best interest as the main focus. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they never try to take the other person's side. It's really great. Yeah. They're never like, you were being a jerk. They just let you vent. At least my therapist.
Well, unless you're being a total jerk, then they might be like,
yeah, unless you
reconsider these actions.
At that point, you need that a little bit. Yeah, but it's never like, I don't know, like sometimes you can just go, you know what I mean? Sometimes you're in that mood and you're like, I just need to, like, I'm sure you've had clients, you know, I used to say to my therapist, I won't even put you on the spot. I said it to my therapist, I'd be like, I need to vent today. She was like, go nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, sick. Here we go. And it could be
it's amazing what an hour a week of just the freedom to say what you want, to not be judged, like to focus on you guilt-free. It's good for the soul.
My hot take in life is if we had everyone go to therapy, the manosphere wouldn't exist.
I mean,
I think that's a lot of very angry people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I also think, another hot take in my life, everyone should be subscribing to IBT, commenting below, letting us know what you think about the episode. Because we're at our closing thoughts on the episode.
Dun dun.
We hit that 30-minute mark, and that's usually where I try to keep this because we respect people's time around here at Popcorn and Root Beer.
I want you to come back.
And we
got 3 more episodes. No, 2.
2. We're up against it now, and Lanterns is starting like right at the end here. It's going to be crazy times here. I'm very excited. Very excited. I actually found another list of like new shows that are also coming out soon that I have to share with you guys soon because it's very exciting. So final thoughts on this episode. Anything that we think is going to happen? Anything with this? Again, the plot didn't move very far in this episode.
Okay, I've got to ask you guys this, our closing thing. Who's going to live and who's going to die by the end of the last episode?
I think Lucky, Priscilla, and Dutch.
Yep.
Are going to live?
Lock it. Those would be my locks.
I don't think John makes
Priscilla,
it.
Dutch.
I don't think Whitaker makes it.
What about Billy? Does she make it?
I don't think Billy makes it. Although now we met her kids. Yeah, no, that makes me feel even stronger. Now I don't think she lives. I think they introduced us to the kids, and although now they have the near death, I don't know. They kind of already put her in near death, but it really wasn't that close to death. I don't think
she's got
Billy
the obsession. I think we're going to keep Billy. I'm going to vote to keep her.
I'm not saying these are the people I want to get killed off. I'd like to keep all these characters for another season. I don't think anyone needs to die. Cary already died. I think Whitaker needs to go, and that's it. But if I had to bet, I think only like 2 or 3 characters are making it out of this season alive. Maybe Billy instead of Dutch. Dutch may not make it.
Dutch better make it.
I just, you know what? I don't know. Again, I'd take a spinoff of Dutch and all his little cleanups.
Dutch ain't much.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Too much Dutch. Oh,
get out of here.
Overall, big fan of Lucky. Still am. Loving the show. Very sad it's coming to an end. But as I said, we have so much coming up for you. We have Lanterns. Very excited about that. We also have our review of Spider-Man Brand New Day that just came out, our less than 10-minute version. We may do a long version if the Hartmans are up for a longer discussion about it, but we'll see because we do have Doomsday coming out later this year. We have more movie reviews this month that I'm very excited about, including The End of Oak Street, which is probably the movie I'm most excited about in the imminent future. Brian, you got anything cool cooking on in between the screens soon?
I mean, we're following Big Brother hot and heavy. We got another 2 months before that ends up, and it's a lot of fun with movies. We got movie drafts coming up, whether it be auctions, whether it be snake style, whether it be brackets. But it's going to be all the broad covering of these movies. You know, Steve gives the deep dives for us, but we go just the gentle blanket of all these movies.
Yeah, it's kind of something for everyone here on Popcorn
Spooky
Root Beer.
Season's around the corner. I just watched.
Oh, in my mind, it's already started.
The season today, and like I hate scary movies, folks, but for some reason, August, October, I just get nasty with it.
From the 5th of July until Christmas Day, spooky season. Then it's Christmas Day, and then it's spooky season until the 4th of July. I'm all in. I'm all in on spooky season. All right. We've reached the sad part of the show where it's time for us to say goodbye. I already have begged you multiple times to like, subscribe, and share, and hit that little notification bell, so I won't keep doing it over and over again. Please comment below, and remember to follow my co-hosts on social media as well, because they are lovely over there. Don't forget to follow IBT on Twitter. We are IBT_media there on Twitter. And you can find more written content and links to other videos, both on this YouTube channel and at in-betweenmedia.com. For myself, for the Heart Foundation, that's a wrap. Bye.